When we hear Michael Jordan, only one thing comes to mind: GOAT. His airness absolutely tore through the league and redefined greatness. Across his career, MJ won 6 championships and 10 scoring titles. But which season was the best? Join us to rank the top 10 best seasons in the GOAT's career. At number 10, the 1984-85 NBA season. Michael Jordan's first season was one of the best, because he was so darn good at everything. He scored 28.2 points per game on 51.5% shooting and finished third in the league behind Bernard King and Larry Bird. Amazing for a 21-year-old rookie who wasn't even the first overall pick. He averaged 28.2 points per game, 6.5 rebounds per game, and 5.9 assists per game. He led the Bulls to the playoffs, averaging 29.3 points per game and 8.5 assists per game. Terry Cummings and Sidney Moncrief helped the Milwaukee Bucks advance despite the shooting guard's Herculean performance. He was an All-Star and the Rookie of the Year and made the All-Rookie First Team and All-NBA Second Team. The best, however, was very much yet to come. Up next at number 9, the 1997-98 NBA season. We jump from the start to the end, at least his Bulls career. Michael Jordan won his 10th scoring title and 4th MVP award for the 62-20 Chicago Bulls. As expected, the Bulls tied the Utah Jazz for the best record in the NBA. Jordan averaged 28.7 points per game on 46.5% shooting. Even though Karl Malone led the league in win shares, Jordan's Bulls were the better team. He averaged 28.7 points per game, 5.8 rebounds per game, and 3.5 assists per game. The GOAT averaged 32.4 points per game and 5.1 rebounds per game in the playoffs versus the Nets, Hornets, Pacers, and Jazz. Michael won his 6th title and 2nd three-peat in 1998. By winning his 6th title, there was little debate about who the greatest player of all time was. That season, he won Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, and the scoring championship. He made the All-Star Team, All-NBA First Team, and All-NBA Defensive First Team. And now at number 8, the 1996-97 NBA season. Karl Malone's first MVP victory was controversial despite arguably being a top 2 power forward of all time. We take Duncan and Garnett over him, but that's just us. Michael Jordan, who had the best record and had just won his record 9th scoring title, was easily the best player in the world. However, Malone still earned the most votes, likely because voters were tired of praising and voting for the dominant shooting guard. One of the downsides of being perennially great is that people will hate you for it, and all he did was average 29.6 points per game, 5.9 rebounds per game, and 4.3 assists per game. Jordan earned his 5th NBA title and back-to-back titles as a Bull. Jordan averaged 31.1 points per game, 7.9 rebounds per game, and 45.6% FG in the playoffs. No one matched the GOAT's domination. Coming up at number 7, the 1988-89 NBA season. Michael Jordan started winning NBA titles in the 1990s. Still, something about averaging over 30 points per game every season tends to make you famous. This was Jordan's best 1980 season. As the team's point guard, he even came close to averaging a triple-double. This is a good start for the Jordan couldn't pass brigade. He could, he just didn't. He averaged 32.5 points per game, 8.0 rebounds per game, and 8.0 assists per game. His accolades for the season included being an All-Star, All-NBA First Team, scoring champion, and All-NBA Defensive First Team. Up next, number 6, 1991 to 1992 NBA season. Michael Jordan won MVP again with the Chicago Bulls. Jordan won his 3rd MVP award after leading the league in scoring for 6 straight seasons. He made his first team All-NBA and All-Defensive. He also won MVP, as if the rest of the accomplishments weren't enough. The famous Bulls guard averaged 30.1 points per game on 51.9% shooting, 6.4 rebounds per game, and 6.1 assists per game. Chicago went 67-15, and Jordan won his 2nd title. MJ averaged 34.5 points per game in the playoffs, dominating the competition till the finals, where he also dominated everyone and won Finals MVP. The 5th best season, the 1989-90 NBA season. 1990 was Michael Jordan's breakout breakout year as a superstar. Sure, some people were already calling him the best player they'd ever seen, but we guess it still counts. Phil Jackson became the Chicago Bulls head coach as Scottie Pippen became a two-way superstar. Even though Jordan didn't win an NBA title, he was amazing. He averaged a cool 33.6 points per game, 6.9 rebounds per game, 6.3 assists per game, and 2.8 steals per game. Michael Jordan's elite offense and all-around impact led the Chicago Bulls to their best record in 1989 to 1990. Michael averaged 36.7 points per game and 7.2 rebounds per game in the playoffs, destroying teams before the Eastern Conference Finals. Jordan could still not beat the Detroit Pistons, but that would soon change. Coming up at number 4, the 1995-96 NBA season. Michael Jordan averaged 30.4 points per game and shot 49.5% from the field in 1996. As amazing and important as Scottie Pippen was, Jordan was exceptional. As shown by his MVP title and All-Star Game MVP, he was the show's star. MJ wasn't just a fantastic scorer, he was a great defender too. For the season, MJ averaged 30.4 points per game, 6.6 rebounds per game, 4.3 assists per game, and 2.2 steals per game. It was amazing to see Jordan and Scottie Pippen lead the Chicago Bulls to a 4th NBA title and the record-breaking 72-10 record. The Golden State Warriors shattered the record in 2015, but most fans and media members consider Jordan's 1996 squad the finest ever. Let us know who you think is better in the comments below. At the end of the season, Jordan had won the Finals MVP, All-Star Game MVP, and scoring championship. He was also selected to All-NBA First Team and All-NBA Defensive First Team. And now at number 3, the 1992-93 NBA season. Michael Jordan was better than Charles Barkley all season. Barkley still won the MVP because of Jordan's fatigue. Jordan improved his scoring, stealing, rebounding, free throw percentage, and points. His 64-point game against O'Neal's Magic and series-clinching win over the Cavaliers were just some of his highlights. For the season, Michael was on 32.6 points per game, 6.7 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game, and 2.8 steals per game. Michael proved his dominance by beating Charles Barkley and the Phoenix Suns in the NBA Finals. The superstar shooting guard averaged 41.0 points per game on 50.8% shooting. The GOAT's monstrous numbers ensured Barkley would never win a title and proved to everyone in the NBA that it didn't matter who won MVP, he was still the best. Other than that, his accolades for the season included being Finals MVP, All-Star, All-NBA First Team, All-NBA Defensive First Team, scoring champion, steals leader, and AP Athlete of the Year. Up next at number 2, the 1987-88 NBA season. Michael's tremendous third season was one of the best in NBA history and perhaps singled out was the best season a player has ever had. MJ had 35 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 5.8 assists per game, and 3.2 steals per game. 53.5% of his field goals were career highs. Such efficiency from a perimeter player was unheard of. He averaged 35.0 points per game, 5.5 rebounds per game, 5.9 assists per game, 3.2 steals per game, 1.6 blocks per game, perhaps the best regular season stat line of all time. With the 6th best defensive rating, Michael received his first MVP, NBA All-Defensive First Team, and Defensive Player of the Year. With a 31.7 player efficiency, he set a career high. 21.2 win shares put him number 1 in the NBA. Jordan averaged 36.3 points per game, 7.1 rebounds per game, and 53.1% FG in the playoffs. However, we don't believe that was his best season ever. And finally, at number 1, the 1990-91 NBA season. For us, 1991 is his best season. Sure, he won DPOY in '88, but he didn't win a ring, and that's what it's all about. He finally got over the hump by beating the dominant bad boy Pistons, who used the Jordan rules year after year to stop him. He was still the best offensive and defensive player in the league by some distance. He averaged 31.5 points per game, 6.0 rebounds per game, 5.5 assists per game, 2.7 1.7 steals per game and 1.0 blocks per game. Imagine being a guard and averaging a block a game. Only MJ could. During the regular season, MJ won his 5th straight scoring title with 53.5% shooting and finishing 3rd in the steals per game. MJ led the Bulls to a 61-21 record that ranked 1st in the East and 2nd overall. At the end of that season, he had accumulated the Finals MVP, All-Star, All-NBA First Team, All-NBA Defensive First Team, Scoring Championship, and the AP Athletes of the Year award. The best player in the world had finally become the proverbial monkey on his back and had won a title. And as we know now, with the power of hindsight, he was just getting started. So do you agree with our picks? Which season do you think was MJ's best? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.